Hey there. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ann Perry. I am a numerologist from annperrynumerologist.com. And my guest today is Annette Dalloo from Infinite Soul Love. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ann?
I'm doing great. I'm great. So it's so fun to be communicating from the East Coast to Paris, France. Like, what up with that?
True.
I know, right? Yeah, I love the internet.
Technology is always amazing.
Technology is amazing. Yeah. So Annette is a transformational coach from, she's from the United States, but she's living in Paris now. And she's been a guest speaker in my Clarity Seekers community a few times and is backed by massive demand, right? All my members were looking for her, and I certainly was looking forward to come back because we just have a blast every time we share time together. So
It's true.
Isn't it true?
It is true.
Yeah, we knew that.
I could talk to you all day long, and you know that. Like, we could literally just blah, 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 blah.
I know. We got to do something with that five-hour time difference, though.
Right, exactly.
Hey, Rose. Hey, Selena. Good to see you. Hey, Hourglass Tarot. Good to see you as well. So today we're going to be kind of warming you guys up to a topic we're going to really elaborate on further down the road. That'll be next week, Tuesday, September 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do a full presentation on creating affirmations that kick serious ass. Now, if that didn't get your attention, I don't know what will, because, I'm a manifestor from way back, and I've really played around with various ways to create what I want. And I've learned how to tone that down because I'm an Aries and I go after anything and everything I want and I just expect it, right? But I found over the times that sometimes what I was trying to attract wasn't really within my best interest. So I think it's important that we talk to someone like Annette, who specializes in this area of manifestation, to help us to learn, what are we doing wrong, and what could we be doing better?
Right.
So this is part one, guys, of a two-part series. So Annette's going to be teaching us today a little bit about how to manifest with great intention and using your words correctly and really giving some thought to how you're putting it out there. And then on Tuesday, September 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be looking at how do we now take these affirmations and place them into crystal grids. So too fun. Too much fun.
It's all about that amplification, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. I love it.
So what can you tell us about that, Annette? Like, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? What can we do better?
Well, okay. So to address what you were saying just now, which is about like choosing the right words, and that is so true. Like, you must use the words that not only reflect your intentions, but that are specific enough that you're going to be able to tell the universe what you want, while, and this is the tricky part, still allowing the universe enough wiggle room to give you something probably better than what you're asking for. Because that's the whole thing, is that we get stuck in our heads about what we want. So I want this boyfriend, this exact person, or I want, this exact job. Well, maybe that job is going to really suck for you. Maybe the people in that office are going to be horrible to you. Maybe it's not an energetic match. So you might think that it looks all nice and shiny on the outside, but it might not be. So instead of focusing on very, very specific things, you have to give that beautiful energy space to allow what is to come into your life that's going to be for your highest good, right? And that can be a little tricky, because I think people get really caught up on wanting the specific things, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So one of the things that I always say too is feel into whatever it is that you're wanting in your life, because your body is going to be your greatest asset in telling you, is this something that's good for you or is it not? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I use that a lot when I'm, choosing foods or choosing, something that I'm going to drink or whatever it happens to be. It's like, if my body's saying, no, you shouldn't have that second cup of coffee. Okay, cool. I'll listen. I've learned I learned enough now that when my body speaks to me, I listen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it has a lot to do with learning how to surrender and trust in the process.
100%.
Yeah. I really feel that. I know I was sharing with you before we got on the call that, we're buying a piece of property and it was supposed to close in August. And I was just getting totally bent out of shape that it wasn't closing in August. And I was really getting upset. And, a lot of stuff was happening. And I was having a very hard time surrendering and letting go of that. But eventually, when I surrendered and let go, I realized that there was something much bigger behind the scenes. We wanted it to close at a particular time because there was income associated with getting that building at that time and all those sorts of things. But anyway, the long and short of it is we're still not closed yet, but we've discovered that there's a structural problem that is now the responsibility of the person who still owns it, right? So this is being all taken care of in a timely way. And it didn't start to smooth out until I really just surrendered and let it happen.
Yeah.
But don't you feel that we all get caught up? Like the law of attraction, don't get me wrong. Law of attraction works. It's a very powerful thing. But it's our ego that is often driving the bus to say, you have to have this guy, you have to have this car, you have to have this boat, you got to have this job, this bank account, whatever.
Yeah.
And, if that's not within our best interest, I sure as hell don't want it.
It's absolutely true. And the last bit that we always hang on to, and I always say this, is the cause of most anguish and frustration within humans is time. That is the biggest factor, right? Because you want to have control over when it happens. You want to have control over why isn't it happening now? Because Anna and I, we talk a little bit before these sessions, and so I was telling her a story earlier as well about how I was just in the United States renewing my visa to come back to Paris, and it wasn't happening as quickly as I was told it was going to happen. And I had it set in my mind that it would be 2 to 3 weeks, and it wasn't. And when it finally came down to it being more than 3 weeks, I started to basically like throw a hissy fit internally. Yeah. And actually externally as well. I was like talking to my angels. I was screaming at my angels. I was like, come on, I want this now, and they were sitting there telling me it's not time yet. I was like, how can it not be time yet? And of course, even though this is something that I know, when it's my own life, I get frustrated too. So I get frustrated with this kind of stuff as well. But you have to go back to what you know to be true, which are A, laws of the universe, and B, that it may not be in your highest good to have it at that very moment. So I actually was like, okay, nope, I'm going to take control. And I called like 4 of my girlfriends and I said, okay, we're going to do a manifestation together so we can amplify this manifestation.
Yeah.
So we did it. And then my one friend who's very intuitive, she says, you know what, Annette, it has nothing to do with the French administration. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that there are some things that need to happen. So you need to let go and you need to do the things that you need to do and you need to just let it happen. And I was like, thanks for the reminder,
Yeah.
And then, we all need those reminders because we are all human, right? So you're saying like, your ego takes over. Yeah, it does take over sometimes. Right. I mean, we're never going to be perfect in the idea of, okay, the ego is going to be totally gone entirely. No, you have to work with the ego. Your ego does tell you things that are important. And what did your ego tell you then? Oh, that you were actually resisting what the universe was trying to hand to you.
And when you get anxious like that, I mean, I preach this all the time, but I'm not always the best at listening to myself.
Right, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. But, really, when we're anxious and we're upset, it's because we have this fear that we're losing control. And if we have this fear that we're losing control, it's a clear sign that says we haven't surrendered and we're not trusting. And when we're not surrendering and we're not trusting, we're not plugged in. Whatever you're plugged into, it doesn't matter. Whatever the divine means to you, if you are unplugged from the divine, if you are unplugged from something bigger than yourself, you're flying blind. Right. Yeah. And you don't have a sweet clue and you are out of control. Right. But the control you have is to be able to surrender the need for control, just to release it. So anyway.
And to reiterate that point, I was showing Anne prior to getting on this call, the giant sign the universe gave me in regards to this particular situation. And it literally could not have been bigger of a sign.
In your face moment.
I was waiting in line in security for the airport coming back to Paris because I had gotten my visa at that point. And there was a woman standing in front of me in the security line who, I'm not joking you, had a shirt that said surrender on it. And then it had 74, which is my birth year. I was like,
It's beautiful.
Okay, universe, I got it.
Yeah,
Like,
you were just bitch slapped.
oh, like in a big way, in a
Yeah,
big way.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So do not underestimate the universe's power to like give you the signs that you need at the exact right time. Yeah,
That is too funny.
yeah.
Well,
So there are a lot of things to consider when you are writing your affirmations, right? And so
right.
like that's the first thing is that you really should write them down as opposed to just speaking them
Mhm.
because then you can really craft it before you start anchoring it in with the crystal grid like we're going to talk about in the next session.
Right.
So you can really formulate exactly what you want to say and then you can kind of meditate on it a little bit and think okay, is this what I really want, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Sometimes we say that we want something but is it what you truly want? Or is it what maybe your parents wanted for you? Or is it something that maybe your husband wants for you or your girlfriend or spouse or whoever it happens to be?
Is it something you think you want,
Yeah.
or is it something you feel you want?
Right.
Yeah. So you're
Is it
right. You gotta
something
feel into it.
is it something that society tells you that you should have?
Yeah.
That's another big one,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. It's like advertising drives me batty
Oh my
because
gosh,
every
yes.
advertisement is designed to tell you that you're not good enough unless you have whatever they're pushing,
Right.
right? That's the whole reason why there's advertisements, right?
Right.
You are nothing unless you
Exactly.
have this hair color, or you are nothing unless you drive that car or live in that house or whatever. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of programming that goes on. So you're right. You have to sit with it and examine, is this
Mhm.
truly what I need?
Yeah.
Wants and needs, like they can be a little difficult at times.
It's interesting because I was just this is slightly off topic, but it tracks in the same vein. So like it's something that I've had going on my whole life. And it, believe it or not, just popped into my consciousness just this past week that I don't know when it came into my consciousness when I was a child, but the idea that every woman must have a flat stomach. That is the thing that came into my head. And I've realized that my whole life I've always looked at myself and been like, "Okay, how flat is my tummy?" You
Oh,
know?
me
And
too.
like that
Yeah.
happens all the time. And
Yeah.
and I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't care how skinny you are. Every woman has some sort of a tummy when she's sitting down, right?
Right. Yeah.
Whether it's small or whether it's bigger, it doesn't matter. It's
Mhm.
like, it's, but who told me way back when that, like, basically you have no value or you're not worth anything if you don't have a flat stomach?
You
You know,
likely were
so,
watching some kind of a fitness ad or something, and you were feeling vulnerable at that moment, and boom, it
yeah.
gets planted, and there you go.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
then it's there for the rest of your life, and that's what you operate from. So
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh," so I made the conscious decision. I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I'm not operating from that anymore." Like,
Right.
that's not something I want to operate from.
I wanna sign up
So
for that.
say it again?
I wanna sign up for that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, doing that kind of work ahead of doing your manifestations,
Yeah.
can be really helpful because when you finally let go of these programs that sort of get stuck in your head, then you can really figure out, well, what is it that I truly want? Well, what I truly want in terms of my body is I want to be strong.
Yeah.
I want to have strength. I want to be able to have flexibility.
Mhm.
So as I get older, I'm not going to be stiff. I'm not going to be hurting when I wake up and that kind of thing. So like I want to get ahead of it, before I start, getting into that place where I've pulled muscles or whatever it happens to be, right? So when you start identifying those things that you truly want, that's when you can start saying, okay, this is what I'm manifesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you can start from there and saying, okay, well, keep in mind, you're always manifesting,
Right.
right? So there
Yeah.
is not a single moment in time ever that you are not manifesting.
Right.
It's whether or not you are consciously doing it or unconsciously doing it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, okay, so what does that mean? So if you want to manifest having a really strong body, then what does that look like? Then you have to kind of look at, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to manifest that? Well, for me, talking to your cells, talking to your body, talking to your inner critic, all of those things. Like those are all things that you must do,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So we haven't even gotten to the actual manifestation yet. And this
Yeah.
is all just sort of like prep work
Yeah.
that you must do in order to get to the exact manifestation you want. And this goes the same with, if you want a job, figuring out, okay, well, what is it that I want to feel? How do I want to feel? I
Yeah.
want to feel empowered. Do I want to feel challenged? Because challenge doesn't have to mean something bad, right? It can
Mhm.
mean that it's challenging the comfort zone that you have. It's helping you to grow through that challenge. Or if you want something that's, helps you with your creativity, whatever it is.
Yes, and I feel like it's not just about how, but it's also why. Knowing your
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
right? It's
Absolutely.
because there's lots of times when we think we have to have something, but when you really start to examine the motive as to why we have to have it, it might be that we're feeling insecure without it. We don't
Mhm.
look as successful as our neighbor because we don't have that car or that piece of clothing or that handbag or whatever, right? So
Right.
examining the why do you want this is really
Mhm.
important as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So you're going to be looking at 7 steps, right?
Yes.
We'll be
Mhm.
examining 7 steps. So
Yeah.
this isn't just a fly by night program.
Yeah.
We typically go for about 2 hours in these programs. So we're talking about the Creating Affirmations That Kick Serious Ass. It's a program that's coming up on the 13th of
Mhm.
September at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're not a member of the Clarity Seekers community, why not? You need to get in there.
Yeah.
The website is up there. There's about 45, 46 different classes in there already with PDF documents and audio handouts. All of it is in there already. Plus, there's a bunch of free giveaways when you sign up. So you might want to check it out. As I say, the website's right there. But we're going to be examining so much more. Annette, we're going to be talking about, can you outline the 7 steps? I know I was looking at them earlier. Do you have them
Yeah,
in front of
sure.
you? Yeah.
So the first thing is kind of what we've touched on is basically identifying what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a really big thing. So we're gonna go really in depth to
Yep.
that. The second one is, and I'm hoping I'm gonna get these in order of what I wrote them. I don't have the sheet in front of
That's
me.
okay.
So
You know
the
what? I think I
second,
do.
I'm sorry.
I think I might have it. Hang on.
Oh, we can show it if you can. If you can show it on the screen, that would be great.
Well, now you're gonna make me like do fancy things.
Oh no, I'm not gonna make you do fancy things.
Hang on, I can do this. I can do this. Hang on. Here we go. We're gonna do this. Um, boom. Okay, so we're gonna reduce that. I'm gonna get rid of that, and then we're gonna push some buttons.
Awesome.
Hang on. Mm. uh, okay, let's go there. Let's go. Nope. I don't know.
That's okay.
Um, yeah, for some. Oh, wait now. Wait for it. Let's go here. Let's go here. Share the screen. Nope. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on. So yeah,
Okay,
that's a
we
little
don't have
too
to show the
technical.
handout, but like the handout is actually something that everyone will get if you do join the
How about if? How about when they join? Because
yes,
anybody
when
who's
you
anybody wants
join.
to hang out with us,
Yes.
right?
When you join the Clarity Seekers community,
Yeah,
which by the way, you just said there were 45 classes. Like it doesn't even do it justice. There is so much
yeah,
rich content in there. It's insane. So yeah, highly recommended. So basically, you'll get the PDF that we were just talking about when you join and when you come to these really in-depth classes we're going to do for the affirmations as well as for the crystal grids.
yeah,
So just to give a brief overview. So, like I said, the first thing is what do I want? Right. So, identifying that. And we're going to go really deep into figuring out what it is that you actually do want. Right. So, then the second one is gratitude. So gratitude is super important when it comes to manifestations. And, often I know people like will keep gratitude journals and that sort of thing. But oftentimes it is, okay, I'm grateful for whatever it is that is in my life currently versus grateful for something that may not actually be in your life yet.
Yeah.
So being
Mhm.
grateful for something that is something that you're trying to manifest, something that you're gravitating towards your life is a super important part of it. So then the third point is to be specific about the words that you're choosing. So, it's kind of that balance, as I was saying earlier, that balance between, being specific and then also leaving enough room for the universe to give you exactly what is best and in your highest good versus I want that specific person, that specific job, those types of things. Okay.
Yeah.
Then the fourth thing is to basically align yourself with what it is that you want. So, like, okay, what happens if what you're asking for isn't in your highest good? So, kind of what I was saying earlier about my visa situation, it wasn't in my highest good to have my visa at that exact time that I wanted it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, being able to write in your affirmation, and you taught me this portion, which is it is in the right timing for me in
Yeah.
my highest good, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's literally the most perfect wording that you could have ever given because it's exactly true. And that is in step 5, which is the timing of it. So, a lot of people I know when they want to write their manifestations, they want to say, I want, $5,000 by next week. Okay, cool. Is it possible? Maybe,
Hmm.
but when you put a time frame on something like that that might be unrealistic, you have to understand we are living in a dense world. and manifestation comes from the universe. So like if we were able to manifest instantly like you can in other dimensions and when you're in those higher vibrations, then yeah, that would be great. But when we live in a dualistic society like we do, having manifestations come instantly is probably not a good thing, right? Because
Absolutely.
especially if you don't know what you want, it's like, oh, I want this, boom, it's here. Oh, I want that, boom, it's here. Oh, crap, I didn't want that one. Like,
Mhm.
it's that be
Yep.
careful what you wish for kind of thing. So the timing delay is actually a really good thing from that perspective. Okay. So when it comes down to it, the timing has to be for your highest good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the highest good of all concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is and that
I
is
feel.
that is the really hard one to remember as well is like, okay, so if you're asking for a job and let's say somebody else is already in that position and they're really happy there, you're not going to oust them from that job just in order to get it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe there might be another job that's better for you or maybe that person is going to move on and that'll be the right time,
Yeah.
right?
Perfect. Exactly.
Yeah. So
And
the sixth step is to
visualize.
visualize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one is to and it depends on how you let's say like which clair you have that is dominant. So, we have clairsentient, we have clairvoyant. So clairsentient is clear feeling, right?
Mhm.
Clairaudient, which is hearing, clairvoyance, seeing, obviously, clear seeing, or claircognizance. Okay.
Mhm.
So I always say sort of work with the clair that is the most dominant for you. So when I say visualize, it doesn't necessarily have to be like you're seeing it in your mind's eye. It is whatever feels the most strong for you. So
Mhm.
if you can imagine it like a movie behind your eyes, like imagine this manifestation going really, really well. Cool. If it's more about hearing, like maybe you're hearing yourself call a friend and tell them about this manifestation or whatever it happens to be. So utilize your strengths in that.
Yeah.
And then the last step is to let it go. And
I love that part.
I love that part too, but it's also the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
Oh,
also
I
the
love it.
hardest. Yeah.
I love letting it go because it means if I can let it go comfortably, I don't have to sweat about it. I've already put in a sticky memo and put it up there. I know they're going to find the right ones to handle it.
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
even meant to be handled.
Right.
That's the whole thing that I like. My affirmation I use is, I'm just so grateful you're bringing me the perfect insert here in the
Mhm.
perfect timing for me. And then I
Mhm.
walk away. I've already
Yeah.
sent it out there, and there's no point in saying it more than once
Mhm.
or repetitively. Like sometimes people are like, they'll sit there over their vision boards and repeat the affirmations and all that. If that works for you, great. But for
Sure.
me, I feel that brings in a lack of trust, because
Yeah.
if you keep having to reinforce it all the time, then you're working against the trust factor, right?
Well,
Surrender.
and you're also reinforcing the fact that it's not here.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
just put it out there and say, hey, bring, a case in point, my clients, people I do the readings for. I'm so grateful you're bringing me the perfect clients and the perfect timing for us.
Yes.
I don't want to see anybody until I've experienced whatever I need to experience so I can share it with them to help them on their journey.
100%. How
Right?
many times has that happened to you, Anne, where like you experience something in your life personally, and then you get a client who calls and says, "Oh, I'm doing, this sort of thing," and it directly relates
Oh,
to something you just went through.
all the
Like
time.
it happens all the
All
time.
the time.
All the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. All the time.
100%.
I'm just half the time I'm like, wow, this is like an all about me moment.
Right?
It's great. Like these people come to see me and I give them their readings and whatnot, and I learn so freaking much. It's just,
Well, and that's the thing, is that it is a two-way street in the learning
yeah,
process. I do learn a lot as well through
yeah,
all of the sessions that I have, whether it's an Akashic record session or whether it's a spiritual guidance session, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, I mean, I learn things from people all the time, no matter where it's coming from. So,
yeah.
the one thing I was going to mention too about the crystal grids is that I find, for me personally, who I am somebody who has struggled with control issues my whole life.
Mm,
And so to be able to let go of those manifestations, the crystal grids really help with that for me personally,
yeah.
because it's like, it's almost as if I'm like giving that energy to the crystal grid. And it's like, okay, the crystal grid has the manifestation. The crystal grid knows I've programmed all the crystals, I've done all the things, and now it's going straight up to the universe, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So
Yeah.
it's a physical thing that allows me to know that, okay, it's working over there and I can be over here and not worrying about it. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's I always use that example. I just simply walk away. I put it out there. I mean, if you have
Yeah.
to keep reiterating it and reinforcing it over and over again, you're basically implying that the universe is kind of simple, right? That they're
Mhm.
going to forget or whatever. But honestly, if you set your intention to and truly believe that you will get whatever is within your best interest, and that you can accept
Mhm.
that you can accept the fact that maybe you won't get that job that you want. Maybe you won't get that house that you very much want. Maybe you won't get that lover, whatever.
Mhm.
The universe has always got your back.
Yeah.
Always got your back, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then to add on to that, if you ask for something, you might have to lose a few things before you get it.
oh, yes.
You
Yeah.
know? So that's another be careful what you wish for kind of situation, because if you're saying that you want this job that, let's say, pays a ridiculous amount of money, or,
Mhm,
whatever it
mhm.
happens to be, and yet you're at a job that you don't necessarily have the exact experience yet, or let's say you're at a job that doesn't give you that kind of monetary compensation, um, you might have to lose that job. And actually, in fact, you will lose that job in order to get this next beautiful job. It might not be happening in the seamless way that you think it will. You might have to go through some lessons first. You might have to go through some challenges first.
Well,
Um,
as you're saying that, I'm thinking about, that seems to be a common theme that people, "Oh, I wish I could make more money. I wish I had the better job. I wish I was making the big paycheck like somebody. I wish I had the big pension and all that." And when
mm,
you finally manifest that and you get into that, if you're not in healthy alignment with what you're worth, if your
yes.
self-worth is a little shaky and yet you're in this
Mhm.
job up here, you're going to blow it
Yeah.
because you don't feel worthy of this. You said you wanted it, but your heart doesn't believe you're worth it.
Hmm.
And so that will completely destroy um, that kind of an energy for sure.
And also, if you're vilifying people with money.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting here saying, "Oh, well, Elon Musk is, evil because he's got all this money, and he's, this person is evil because they have all this money."
Yep.
If you're vilifying money, money is
Mhm.
energy. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
just energy.
Yep.
So if you want money to come to you, you need to make friends with money. You need to
Yep.
say, "Yay, I love you, money. You're awesome. You
Yeah.
can give me all sorts of amazing power to be able to do good in the world,"
Mhm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
so if you're sitting there vilifying money, let's say 80% of the time, and then you go to your manifestation and you're like, "Okay, universe, I want money now." And the universe is like, "Why would we give you money? You're saying it's bad and evil. Why would you want it?"
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so
Yeah,
you really have to examine your words for sure.
100%.
Yeah. So we may, I guess we got a few more minutes just to ask a few questions.
Sure.
Okay, to answer a few questions. So I would like to put the challenge out there to the group. Tell me something that you really tried really hard to manifest, and maybe you didn't feel it worked out so well. You got it, but then all of a sudden it was like, ugh, careful what I wish for sure. I got something that wasn't
Mhm.
quite so good. That might be something to talk about. How about something that you did manifest with faith, with trust, and that you did surrender and it happened? Anybody out there got professional speaking career Lawrence is aspiring to do? That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Uh, so what about you, Annette? You got any well, you just shared your story about the visa and
Yeah, I
getting
mean,
green card.
I do have a pretty incredible manifestation story about this apartment that I'm in currently.
Okay.
So I had written down all of my affirmations about the apartment that I wanted when I moved here. So I moved here initially in 2019. I moved here July 4th, ironically. you know,
Yeah.
United States Independence Day, I leave United States and move to France. But basically I was staying in temporary apartments for a few months before my stuff arrived in the shipping container. And I basically wrote down everything that I wanted in this apartment. And, I wanted more than 80 square meters. I wanted a view of the Eiffel Tower. I wanted all of these things. Like I literally
Mm-hmm.
wrote down all of the things that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I found the apartment and I was like, this is it. This is the apartment. And I'm calling the guy and I'm like, and keep in mind, I wrote all of the manifestations about a month prior to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I had written them down. I had forgotten about them, but I was looking for apartments. And so I was, I was trying to find somebody who would, somebody who would show me this apartment. And they kept on saying, "No, it's not available. No, it's not available. No, we cannot show it to you. No, no, no." And I was like, "But this is the apartment. I know this is the apartment. Why aren't they showing it to me?" And I'm so focused on this one apartment. So finally, one day, one of my friends calls me and says, "Hey, you've been working hard at the apartment search. Do you want to just come out, have some dinner, relax for the night?" And I was like, "Perfect."
Yeah.
So I did. And it just so happens that I was sitting next to somebody who was, and I told everybody, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna have my phone on the table. Sorry for the rudeness, but I have to look at my phone because I might be getting text messages from these places that I'm trying to get, appointments with." And the woman sitting next to me, who was one of my friend's wives, said, "Oh, well, what are you looking for?" And I literally went down the list of my manifestation. I was like, "Oh, looking for 80 square meters. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. Da 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 da." She's like, "Okay, well, I'll look at the job board tomorrow." So the next day I get a listing from her husband that was this apartment.
Wow. That was
So
perfect.
it's 80 square meters. It has a 270-degree view of Paris, including the Eiffel Tower. It has everything that I possibly wanted on my manifestation list. And then some. It has a parking space. I don't have a car. Like all
Yeah.
of these things. It has all of these things. So like not only did the universe bring it to me, but it brought me more than what I asked for.
Yeah.
The biggest difference was it wasn't I put down an actual price range and it was above the price range. And I was like, and I really thought about it, and my angels were like, "No, you have to take this apartment.
Yeah.
Like you can afford this apartment even though you think you can't, you can totally afford this apartment." So I was
Wow.
like, "Okay." So literally within 3 days I had the keys to the apartment.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and that was something that it was aligned. It was aligned for what I was meant to be doing and I was meant to be here. And that's about that alignment, right?
I'm listening to you, and I'm watching the comments come up, and I was looking at the one from Tana Lindback, and she says, I manifested a job because I wanted one very quickly. Thought I needed it. I wasn't specific about what kind of job, and I got one 2 days later. It wasn't good. I ended up crying every day until I let go gently. Until I got let go gently. My manager was amazing a week and a half later. It was a sales role. I've never done sales, for a life coach, and I didn't make a single sale. I couldn't even get myself to put in much effort to try to sell. I wasn't ready yet. And now I fully trust that I should, that I should always manifest with the rue. I don't know what that means. With the rue. What does that mean? That I always should have plenty of room for what is my highest good, like Annette pointed out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And know, Tana, that makes me think of something really quite spectacular for me. I was in a job that was just so taxing, so stressful. It was unbelievable. And I wanted out because I wanted to develop this business more so. And I was in what my husband, my ex-husband would call my real job. Okay. He didn't get this. So anyways, I was doing the real job and I hated it.
Right.
So I went for a job interview and it was designing modular homes. And I thought, oh, this is amazing. The hours are great. The money's great. I like these people. It's a good location. That I only have to work Monday to Friday. It's just, it's so sweet. It's going to be perfect. And they hired me right on the spot. But when I left the building, and I thought, wow, that's fantastic. I got that job that I really, really wanted. I walked across the street in an intersection, busy intersection. I remember looking up going, all right, guys, if there's something wrong, I don't know why I did this. If there's something wrong with this job, you better throw a bus in front of it because I'm about to make it happen. And I just let it alone, right? The next morning, I get a phone call from this gal saying, oh my God, Anne, I'm so embarrassed. I cannot believe this. But, I didn't know that my business partner had already filled that position. I'm really sorry. I can't give you that job. And I'm like, and a little tiny bit of disappointment, but I went, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It wasn't meant to be. 6 months later, that business was out of business. But more to the point, I had already also interviewed for another company selling moving and storage. like one of these things is not like the other. Right. But I thought, you know what, the hours are good and whatnot. And I went for this interview with this guy, and I thought, man, there's a really, he seems like a really nice person. That's a person I can work with, not for. He would be my boss. I came home to my husband and I said, that's a guy I can work with. And so I went to work at that company. And 3 years later, I found out that the man who hired me was my soulmate.
Yes.
So,
incredible.
Really incredible. And I don't know what made me walk across the street because I wanted that other job in a bad way, but I just put it out there and I thought, this is the moment. I have to surrender and trust it's going to be okay.
Right.
Best freaking surrender moment of my life. Because I can look up here. So
yeah.
Well,
and that's such a really great example of something that is within your soul contract, right? Like something that is meant for you, and the universe is like, no, you need to go in this direction because this is what you are meant to be doing.
Yeah. And Karen is saying here, that's so cool. Everything is a lesson. It's so absolutely true. If you'll just be open to it, that everything, even the crappy stuff that happens, is a lesson. It's a gift, right? It's always a gift.
Yeah.
Everything's a lesson. You found what you didn't want. So now you can focus on what you do want. Angel numbers are telling me to start a spiritual practice, but I don't know where to begin. Just, you know what, Karen, what you're going to do is you're going to say every day, I'm so grateful you're bringing me the right mentors for my spiritual business in the perfect timing for me. I'm so grateful you're bringing me the perfect inspiration for the next course I need to take. I'm so grateful you're bringing me the perfect nudge in the perfect timing for me. Whatever you want to insert in there, but just trust it's happening. The very fact you've just declared that's what you want to do, it'll happen. It'll happen.
And all the signs, like that's how I ended up reading the Akashic Records, is because I knew nothing about the Akashic Records. And then all of a sudden I'm getting signs of the Akashic Records everywhere, like books and videos and all kinds of things. And I was like, oh, looks like I need to start focusing on this,
Yeah.
I mean, I knew in the very beginning, I knew I was going to be, starting a spiritual practice as well, to help people through their spiritual awakening. I've known that for years, but I had no idea what I was going to do.
Exactly.
I had no clue. No clue.
That's
I was
right.
just like, okay, universe, I'm just gonna trust that you're gonna give me all the things that I need. And it, the universe did, of course.
And I also feel that for those of us who are in this line of work, actually in any line of work, as I think of it, you've got to be willing to just go with the flow rather
Yeah.
than saying, I'm going to be a hypnotherapist. That's what I'm going to do. Damn it. I'm going to be the best there is. Well, that leaves no room for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you do many things, right? One of the things
Yeah.
that Annette is actually, she's great at many things, but one of the things I found absolutely mind blowing was her Akashic record readings. And I've
Thank you.
had a few from
Yeah.
you. So I can attest to the fact that they're amazing and very, very healing. But you didn't stop there. You've brought in all kinds of different modalities and whatnot, because when spirit calls you to go in a different direction, like in your case, Akashic record reading, it's like, what? I got to go where? All of a sudden you find out that not only are you good at it, but there's an audience for it. There's people you're helping to heal through the process of it. You got to be open rather than rigid. You got to be open to, they might be trying to get you to go in this direction, but if you're hell bent for leather to go this way, you're going to miss the bus.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And also being able to understand that you will cultivate your own style, your own way of helping people. Like you don't necessarily have to know right away. So, when I first started coaching people and when I first started doing Akashic record readings, of course I was doing it in the way in which I was trained through my mentors and things like that. But over the course of time,
You develop
I started learning my own techniques, and universe actually was just giving me downloads of all the things that I needed to do. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. So, it's one of those things where you just have to be open, and the universe will absolutely guide you the way that you need to be.
So Monica says something that I wished for recently, that we would find our puppy that got out. We had been driving around for 6 hours. My daughter started crying and said, what if we don't find her? I said, let's ask God and angels and my grandma that had passed to help us find her. Let's have faith. We found her literally 5 minutes later. She was safe and uninjured. She crossed 2 main roads and a freeway. That's an awesome story.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing you can also do is all of our animals have guardian angels as well. So you can ask your pet's guardian angels to guide them home.
Yeah.
So in addition to your guardian angels and your spirit team and everybody else, you can ask your pet's guardian angels. Yeah.
I've been so, whenever I get on my horse to ride, the first one I call out for is Archangel Michael to keep us safe, because I have a tendency to like to ride on the road. Most people don't, but anyway, I do. I got to go on the road to get to cool places. So I call in Archangel Michael to protect us on our journey, but I also call in Archangel Raguel, because Archangel Raguel will maintain peace and harmony, and he helps to keep her calm.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's just a lovely calming energy. Really quite amazing, actually. And I find that if you call on Archangel Raguel to restore your chaotic situation to a place of peace and harmony, like if you're having a bad relationship, or you're in the middle of a fight or an argument, or the energy in your house has gotten a little stickier in the office place or whatever, call in Archangel Raguel to restore your home or relationship or whatever to a place of peace and harmony. Boom. He is the bomb. I'm telling you.
Beautiful.
It's really quite amazing. I ran into a situation on the weekend where a power truck just blew by me, and literally my horse had a bit of a meltdown on the side of the road. She was just like really scared.
Yeah.
And normally you can blow a bomb that's next to her and she's like, whatever, right? But she didn't bolt. She didn't flinch. She just sort of stood there steady. And then another power truck went right by us again. This guy obviously was smarter, and he went more slowly.
Right.
But the fact is, I feel that protective energy around me.
Yeah.
So before I go into any kind of precarious situations, that's what I do. That was off topic somehow, but anyway.
But still, it's beautiful. And clearly somebody here needed to hear that.
Yeah, obviously. So I call upon my benevolent, this is Rose. I call upon my benevolent one when I drive, and it's like magic. Cars part, lights are green, front row parking. My husband has become a believer too. Awesome. I love that.
I love that.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, we're trying to renovate our house in Jamaica, and apparently I was I was telling Annette that These guys in Jamaica, they won't work on Mondays or Fridays because there's too much traffic. You want to know? I'll be calling in the benevolent to clear out the traffic already. Get
Right,
these
right.
people in there. I want to get down there.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, anybody else have any questions or thoughts before we wrap up for today? Just want to remind you that we are going to reconvene through the Clarity Seekers community. And perinumerologist.com, Clarity Seekers community. If you just go to my website, it's right at the very top. You click on it. You can join. It's $22 a month, right? Or you can join for the year. It's like $222 for the whole year. And there's a program in there. There's a 28-day soul coaching program by Denise Lynn, and they're all recorded, all kinds of meditations in there, the whole thing, the whole program. It's valued at $197. You join the membership for a year, you get that as well. So it's a really, really good opportunity. I'm teaching numerology in there, doing 4 live classes a month. Plus we're doing live events once or twice a month. In this case with Annette, I can't just have Annette in for one. I always have to come for 2-part series because we just have so much fun hanging out.
Yeah, it's so true.
So yeah, so check it out. And you can cancel anytime. It's entirely up to you. If it doesn't, float your boat, then you can cancel, but you owe it to yourself to try it out. And guys, we're all shifting from whatever personal year you're in right now. You are right now, this month, we are now starting to shift not only into your new personal year where you can really start to get organized and more intentional about what you're going to be manifesting, but the whole universe is shifting into the 7 universal year come 2023. That's a lot of thinking about and contemplating on, what do I want? This is a skill set that you're going to need moving forward. So I would really encourage you to consider hooking up with us. So
yeah,
you can find Annette at infinitesoullove.com. Let's see if I'm fancy dancy and I can get that up here again. Boom. There we go.
Correct.
infinitesoullove.com. She's really active on TikTok and she's really active on Instagram as well. She's got really cool little videos that come up all the time. Actually, you might want to check her out now because she's doing a whole series on crystals. So in prep for the crystal grid presentation that we're going to be doing on the 27th, you might want to kind of be ahead of the class. So anybody have anything else you want to add there, Annette?
So the handle, we had it up earlier, but it's at Infinite Soul Love 1111. So that's on TikTok and Instagram. And that's basically the TikTok series that I'm doing is just sort of going over each crystal per video and sort of giving the properties of the crystals and what they are strongest at helping you with. So for the crystal series that we're going to do, not this coming video, this next one is going to be the affirmations that kick ass, and then the second one is going to be the one on crystal grids. So that one I'm going to be doing some set types of grids for particular things. So I will tell you the type of crystals to use, the type of sacred geometry to use for a particular thing. So that's usually where we usually say that's where you should start. But then once you start actually creating your own crystal grids and wanting to put your own energy into it, you might want to pull different types of crystals into your grids. And so going through each type of crystal and knowing what they're meant to help you with will help you once you sort of launch off on your own in terms of the crystal grids.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention too is that if you choose to join this class within the Clarity Seekers community, it's run on Zoom, right? So you guys will be in the room with us. It's not going to be done like this with the chat. It's going to be done with you guys live. So it's a really, really good opportunity to be able to connect live with us. You can ask us whatever questions you want. We'll actually be engaging in conversation rather than typing in the chat. And yes, Monica, the replays will be available in the community after they air for sure. Absolutely. And the PDF documents with them and the audio recordings as well will all be in there as well. So
and in the PDF documents will be each one of the crystal grid layouts that we are going to be talking about. So there are going to be 4, I think. I think there's going to be 4. Yeah. So there's going to be, each one will have, okay, you're going to need, let's say 6 of, 6 clear quartz crystals or, 12 X amount of crystals, whatever it happens to be. So that way, when you decide to do this on your own, you'll have your roadmap for how to do it.
Perfect. I can't wait. It's been a long time since I worked with my grid, so I'm really looking forward to dusting it off and getting it working for me.
It's so much fun because I actually, when I was in the US, I bought this little Metatron's cube. It's like all kinds of like iridescent,
Nice.
but
Yeah.
it's a vinyl, so you can put it on different things.
Yeah. Love it.
So I can't wait to start using this. But yeah, like there's all kinds of cool stuff that you can use.
Awesome. Sounds great. All right. Well, we're going to call it a day, guys. So I just want to check and make sure there's no pressing. How to buy the crystal grids. So you're not selling crystal grids?
No.
Okay. You know where you can get crystal grids? Check out Nancy Jean's Garden. Hang on. I'm going to put it in there. Let's see if I can do this right. I just learned about Nancy Jean, and she's absolutely amazing. She's the coolest lady ever. And she creates personal grids for you. All right. So she actually channels. Yeah. She channels what it is you need in the grid. It's really quite amazing. So you can check her out. But in the meantime, and you can check her out on YouTube as well. Nancy Jean's Garden on YouTube. I'm sure she'll be talking about it there, but she's a really cool lady and she really knows what she's talking about. So,
that's incredible. I'll have to check out her website. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah. So I'm going to be on her podcast on September 20th on YouTube. Cool. So
can't wait to listen.
Sounds like fun. All right, guys.
Yeah, and I will also I will give some Etsy links as well. So like if you want to, like the little vinyl sacred geometry that I have, while we're in the class in the Clarity Seekers community, I will give resources like that if you're looking to get some of the materials to make your own crystal grids, that kind of thing.
And maybe we can get those links prior to the crystal grid class, and that way they'll be all ready for when we do the class.
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent. All right. She's always thinking. I only hang out with smart people. Okay. Love you guys. I hope to see you guys. Bye. Hope to see you in the community, and hoping that you're having an amazing day, that you're creating your very best day ever. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.